Here at RPM, we've driven a long list of BMW M3 examples over the years, from the very first boxy E30-based version to the latest E92 M3 Coupe in our long-term test fleet. And there have been some wild ones too, including the super fast and super expensive M3 GTRS and the equally rare Schnitzer-tuned M3 Frozen Edition. But none of them comes close to an M3 we've already dubbed the Orange Monster. Let me introduce you to one of the wildest, most outrageous BMW M3s ever built. It's produced by Rob Green Motorsport, and it turns what is normally an already very rapid car into something absolutely brutal. The Monster started life as a normal E92 M3 Coupe with a 6-speed manual gearbox and a 309 kilowatt V8 mill under the bonnet. For most of us, that would be more than good enough. But Rob Green wanted more, and so the M3's transformation began. Initially, all the changes were made under the skin while leaving the exterior stock standard, but those changes were quite spectacular. It all happens right here under the bonnet. The internals of the M3's V8 4-litre engine remain just about unchanged, but what is different is this unit here. It's a Vortex supercharger, and it has some very special ducting which leads the air into this air box here. It also contains an air charge cooler with its own cooling system, which means that the air being forced down the ram tubes is both cool and dense. The conversion is entirely reversible and the engine isn't opened at all, but the boost in power is substantial. Green claims a flywheel figure of 504 kilowatt at 8,000 RPM, together with 634 Newton meters of torque. That easily outshines the standard car's 309 kilowatt and 400 Newton meters. The clutch remains a standard M3 unit, as does the 6-speed manual gearbox. But the engine isn't the only modification. To make the most of the extra power, the GTRS 3S is fitted with a KW suspension upgrade that retains the M3's adjustable electronic dampers but allows a much wider scope of adjustment in terms of loading and rebound. It also lowers the green BMW by 15mm. Also special are the new Brembo brakes, consisting of vented perforated discs front and rear, combined with 6-piston front and 4-piston rear calipers. Stopping power, as expected, is prodigious. The most outrageous part of this GTRS 3S is the wild and wonderful body kit. This car attracts more attention than anything else I've ever driven, including the Audi R8 and various other supercars. And of course, this bright orange hue doesn't make it that subtle either. The Vorsteiner GTRS 3 body kit has been sourced from Germany and transforms the sleek and somewhat understated lines of a standard M3 into a much more aggressive shape. It starts with a new carbon fiber bonnet and a revised front air dome with a more pronounced splitter. The massively flared fenders of the wide body kit add 60mm on either side in front and a massive 140mm on either side at the rear. The extra space allows the fitment of equally radical wheels and tyres. The Michelin Pilot Sport 2s measure 285/25 R20 in front and 325/25 R20 at the rear. The 3-piece V308 aluminium wheels are also by Vorsteiner. The body kit was fitted and spray painted by Sabatino Auto Stylists in North Riding. Viewed from the rear, there's a carbon fiber boot with a larger integrated rear spoiler and a pronounced rear diffuser. The exhaust system gets bigger flared tailpipes and there are cooling ducts along the trailing edge of the rear fenders. The body kit, wheels and tyres cost a cool 395,000 Rand. Compared to the heavily modified exterior of this car, the interior is almost disappointingly plain, although of course it is a BMW, so the ergonomics are pretty good as it stands. The only real difference here is this BMW Performance Parts steering wheel, which has a display which you can configure to show anything from lap times to engine temperatures. This example is one of the early E92 M3s with basic iDrive and a smaller colour screen. The all-black leather interior is showing some signs of wear, but the standard electrically adjustable seats still provide ample support when pressing on. The embroidered headrest covers are the only departure from the norm. As high-speed officers go, this isn't the most glamorous, but it's comfortable and functional enough. Nothing can prepare you for the almost violent kick of the GTRS 3S when you floor the loud pedal. It leaps forward like a scalded cat, and the acceleration is relentless. The long main straight here at the Midvale Racing Circuit provides the ideal opportunity to find out just how quick this car actually is. And under braking at the end of the straight, you're doing well into the 200 km an hour mark. The 0 to 100 time claimed for this car, 4.17 seconds, which feels entirely feasible despite the high reef altitude. Other keynote figures include a quarter-mile dash of 12.2 seconds with a terminal speed of 200 km an hour and a claimed top speed well in excess of 300 km an hour. With all that power on tap, the way you handle the throttle of this car is very important in terms of overall control. Of course, the huge gumball tyres also provide plenty of grip, and the chassis setup is pretty good too because it does give you plenty of warning before the tail starts stepping out. But even driven with gusto, the orange monster feels composed and confidence-inspiring. Bolt on a set of slicks, and this will become a formidable track weapon. All of this comes at a price, of course. The supercharger conversion will set you back 188,000 Rand, the brakes are about 110,000 Rand, and suspension adds another 50,000 Rand or so. Everything about this car is completely and utterly over the top, but you have to admire the performance potential and the workmanship that's gone into creating it. This is not some cobbled together hot rod, but a properly developed performance machine that is going to astound on the road and on the track. Sure, it costs a king's ransom, but if you're into fast cars, this is probably well worth the investment. The Rob Green GTRS 3S delivers stratospheric performance, but even so, it lacks the outright finesse and the finely honed poise of the standard version. This is a monster, but a thrilling one. With 504 kilowatt and 634 Newton meters, the Rob Green Motorsport developed BMW M3 based GTRS 3S is outrageous in both looks and performance terms. It's superbly engineered and a lot more composed than you'd expect, but its outrageous personality isn't for everyone, and you'll need a big checkbook.